I would like to talk about this potentially fake KO that went viral on Saturday at UFC Atlanta. We had two fighters, Bellato and Craig, facing off in the octagon, and one of them throws an up kick. The other guy gets hit with the up kick, and his reaction, it really makes you question what happened. Before we get to that, I just want to touch on the fact that, let's say I grab Bob here, I'm going to touch on the fact that I feel like the rule set with a downed opponent is very often changing. I thought at some point it was any 3 points of contact, like 2 feet and a pinky, knee and foot, anything like that meant you can't strike. But I thought there was a change at some point, and it was like, okay, you can do certain things. It just makes things confusing, right? The idea that somebody can't be hit because they have, or can't be kicked in the head because they have their hand like this, or their knee down, I don't know. It seems weird to me. You know, fighter safety and all, I get it. But in the moment, it's very difficult for fighters to make that judgment, I think. So clarity would be great. But either way, Craig's on his back and this other guy has his knee down. Foot, knee. At that point, it is illegal. But this dude here, he's probably scrambling around, not trying to get hit, sees an opportunity to throw an up kick. What does that look like? We can see Craig throw it first, and then I'll just break down a little bit more what can happen. We have 2 points when you're on your back like this that you can attack. You can either rise up and throw the kick like this, or you can kind of slash down. But either of those is going to generate decent power, but not what I would think enough to actually KO somebody. Now, the reaction that Bellato has when he gets hit is very odd. What normally happens when somebody gets hit in the face and they get knocked out? Standing, they're completely out and they fall. That's usually what happens. Or they kind of tumble right down to the ground, they catch themselves, and then they have to take the 8 count. But when you're out, you're usually out. Like right away, not after the fact. It's not like a body shot where you get hit and a second or two go by and then you go, oh. So after Bellato gets hit, he looks towards the ref as he's falling, and then a moment later, we see him flat on the ground like he just got knocked out. The interesting part, or the frustrating part I should say, is we lose sight of what his head does when the camera pans behind the referee. And I think the telltale sign would have been how hard does his head hit the ground? Because when a fighter is KO'd and he falls, generally the head takes a lot of impact. It kind of bounces. But if there's any element of control, perhaps he was awake. So what ended up happening was this was a no contest, which I think is fair. I don't know if this warranted a disqualification. Very, very frustrating for both fighters. I understand that. That's the situation all the time, right? This guy's going, I wanted to keep fighting. I just landed an awesome up kick. He could have been winning the fight, which apparently he was, according to his post-fight interview. The other guy's going, yeah, it was an illegal technique. Why should I have to continue after the fact? But you could just kind of get hit and then go, okay, I'm kind of stunned. But what do you guys think? Legit knockdown? Not legit knockdown? Is it something that he just milked when you watch it? And the fact that he kind of puts his hands out as he looks at the referee? To me, that would indicate that he was fully conscious. There were a whole bunch of people sounding off right after with their opinions, which were very biased, thinking that the guy took a dive. I don't want to speculate because I have not seen every angle, heard every element, but of course I'm always interested to hear your guys' take. Lots of negativity towards him, towards Bellato for falling, but who's to say in that moment that, you know, he fell back, looked, and then just something clicked in his brain and then he was unconscious. The wake up after being unconscious, then kind of the scramble away from the referee. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to make of this, but again, curious to hear your guys' opinion. Wanted to share it with you just because it was interesting, and I will see you guys back here very soon.